You're not getting rejected. You're repeating a pattern your brain thinks is love. You have done everything right. You checked the boxes, sent the thoughtful texts, and opened your heart, only to be met with that agonizing slow-motion disappearance, known as the slow fade. Or maybe it was a sudden, cold ghosting that left you staring at a blue bubble on your screen, wondering where the person you were just laughing with went. It's an exhausting, hollow kind of burnout that makes you feel like you are fundamentally flawed. But I am here to tell you that this isn't a string of bad luck. This isn't a cosmic coincidence, and it certainly isn't because you aren't enough. The truth is much more uncomfortable, but it is also the key to your freedom. You are stuck in a subconscious loop. Your brain is currently tuned to a specific frequency that treats unavailable as attractive and consistent as boring. We are going to dive deep into your psychological blueprint to understand why you keep chasing the very people who are designed to pull away, and how to finally break the loop that is keeping you lonely. Think of your life as a biofeedback loop. Everything you experience on the outside is a mirror reflecting a deeply held belief or an unhealed wound on the inside. In psychology, we call this the mirror law. We don't necessarily attract what we want. We attract what we are, or more accurately, what we recognize. For many of us, especially those raised in environments where love was conditional, attraction is actually just recognition. Your adult brain is looking for a familiar feeling, not a healthy one. If you grew up in a household where you had to perform, excel, or stay quiet just to be noticed, your nervous system learned that love is something you have to earn. Therefore, when you meet someone who is distant or hard to get, your brain doesn't see a red flag. It sees an opportunity to finally win the love you didn't get as a child. This is where the concept of shadow work becomes vital. Your shadow is the part of you that still believes you are unworthy of easy, peaceful love. Because that peaceful love feels foreign, your ego rejects it. It feels suspicious. You might even find yourself self-sabotaging when a healthy person shows interest, because your nervous system is literally addicted to the high-stress chase. You've been taught to mistake the anxiety of a racing heart and a knot in your stomach for chemistry or sparks. But that isn't chemistry. It's a trauma response. It's your body sounding an alarm that you are entering a familiar trap. You aren't falling in love. You are falling into a script that has been written for you since you are a toddler. To change who you attract, you have to change the frequency you are broadcasting. This requires moving beyond the surface level of dating tips and looking directly at your childhood conditioning. If you were raised to be the fixer or the strong one, you will naturally gravitate toward partners who are broken or emotionally stunted. You do this because playing the role of the rescuer gives you a sense of control and a temporary sense of worth. But the cost is your own peace. You are essentially hiring people to play the role of the emotionally unavailable parent, so you can try to get it right this time. But you can't get a different result from the same broken formula. It's time to stop blaming the runners and start looking at why your heart is only open to people who have one foot out the door. This realization is the first step in shifting from a state of chasing to a state of being. When you understand that your type is actually a symptom of a wound the spark starts to lose its power over you. You begin to see that the person pulling away isn't a prize to be won, but a reflection of your own fear of true intimacy. True intimacy is terrifying because it requires you to be seen without the performance, without the fixing, and without the chase. As we move forward, we are going to break down the specific archetypes of these patterns so you can see exactly which loop you are stuck in, and how your nervous system has been tricking you into staying lonely in a room full of people. To truly break this cycle, you have to identify the specific mask your trauma wears. We all have a wound partner pairing that feels like home, and usually it falls into one of three distinct archetypes. The first is the achiever. If you were the child who only felt seen when you brought home the straight A report card or won the trophy, you've likely spent your adult life becoming a world-class fixer. You don't just date people, you take on projects. You are subconsciously drawn to the person who is broken, distant, or emotionally unavailable because your inner child believes that if you can just be perfect enough, supportive enough, or patient enough to save them, you will finally prove your worth. You are addicted to the potential of a person rather than the reality of them. But here is the hard truth. You aren't choosing them because they need help. You're choosing them because as long as you are busy fixing them, you don't have to. Look at the emptiness inside yourself. Then there is the invisible child. If you grew up in a house where your needs were overshadowed by a louder sibling or a volatile parent, you learn to shrink. In your adult life, this manifests as an attraction to the narcissist or the hyper-charismatic partner who takes up all the oxygen in the room. You find comfort in being the supporting character in someone else's drama because it's a role you know by heart. You feel safe with people who overlook you because being truly seen feels exposing and dangerous. You mistake their self-absorption for strength, and you convince yourself that your self-sacrifice is just deep love. But in reality, you are just recreating a dynamic where your voice doesn't matter, confirming your subconscious belief that you are meant to be a background character in your own life. Finally, we have the parentified child, the one who had to grow up too fast and take care of the adults around them. If this was you, you likely find yourself stuck in a loop with the Peter Pan figure. These are the partners who refuse to grow up, who are chronically irresponsible, and who pull away the moment life gets serious. You attract them because you are a stabilizer. You provide the structure they lack, and they provide the spontaneity you are never allowed to have. But this isn't a partnership. It's a lopsided dynamic that leads to massive resentment. You end up doing the emotional heavy lifting for two people, and when they inevitably pull away because they can't handle the weight of a real connection, you're left holding the bag. These archetypes aren't just personality quirks. They are survival strategies that have outlived their usefulness. Your brain keeps picking these people because the alternative, a partner who is actually stable, present, and willing to meet your needs, feels like a threat to your identity. If you aren't fixing, shrinking, or carrying the load, then who? Are you? That question is terrifying, and it's why you keep running back to the chase. You aren't lonely because there are no good people left. You're lonely because you are still using a map that only leads to dead ends. Recognizing which of these roles you've been playing is the light bulb moment that begins to dissolve. The glue of the attraction. You are realizing that the intensity you felt wasn't soulmate energy. It was just the friction of an old wound rubbing against a new person. Breaking this karmic loop isn't about finding a better dating app or learning new texting rules. It's about a fundamental shift in your nervous system. For a long time, you've been addicted to the highs of the chase because they feel like passion. But the truth is, healthy, available love is going to feel incredibly boring at first. It might even feel suspicious. When someone actually texts, back on time, when they are consistent, and when they don't make you wonder where you stand, your brain might try to tell you there's no spark. You have to realize that what you've called a spark in the past was actually just your anxiety being triggered. To move toward secure attachment, you have to learn to tolerate peace. You have to practice sitting with the discomfort of being treated well without having to perform for it. This is the work of nervous system regulation, teaching your body that safety isn't a threat and that consistency is actually the highest form of intimacy. This process requires you to start reprinting the wounded parts of yourself that we've been discussing. Instead of looking for a partner to be the parent who finally sees you or the one who finally stays, you have to become that person for yourself. You have to fill your own emotional cup so that you stop walking into the world with a bottomless pit of need. When you are no longer desperate for external validation to prove you exist, you stop being a match for the people who thrive on withholding it. You start to develop a built-in filter. Suddenly, someone pulling away doesn't look like a challenge to be won. It just looks like a person who isn't ready for what you have to offer. You stop chasing not because you've given up, but because you finally realized that anything you have to chase is actively running away from you, and you deserve someone who wants to walk beside you. As you heal, you will notice your social circle and your dating pool start to shift. It's a natural shedding process. The moment you stop being a match for the chase, the runners will naturally disappear from your life because they no longer have a role to play in your story. Healing is the ultimate filter. It clears out the noise and leaves room for the few people who can actually meet you in the light. You have to be willing to be alone for a season while your frequency resets, rather than jumping back into the arms of a familiar pain just to avoid the silence. This silence is where your new self is built. It's where you learn that your value is inherent, not earned. Take a hard look at your dating history, not with shame, but with curiosity. See it as a roadmap of every unhealed part of you that was crying out for attention. Every red flag you ignored was just a signpost showing you where you still felt unworthy. The cycle ends the moment you decide that your peace is more important than the rush of a trauma bond. You are not a project to be fixed or a supporting character in someone else's play. You are the architect of your own emotional reality. When you change the version of yourself you bring to the table, the world has no choice but to bring a different kind of person to meet you. In the comments, I want you to be brave. What is one red flag you used to mistake for passion or chemistry? Let's turn this space into a roadmap for everyone else still trying to find their way out of the loop.